What if something sitting in your kitchen spice rack right now could quietly change the way your entire body functions, and you had no idea? Most people would laugh at that idea. I almost did too. But after 7 days of chewing just one small clove a day, I stopped laughing and started paying very close attention. Before we go any further, if this kind of content speaks to you, do something small that means a lot. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with someone who is always looking for simple, honest health information. You might just change their day. Now let's get into it. This did not start as some bold health experiment. There was no grand plan, no journal, no before and after photos. It started because I had a clove between my fingers one evening while cooking, and on a random whim, I put it in my mouth and chewed it slowly. The taste was sharp, warm, almost electric on the tongue, and something felt different almost immediately, not dramatic, not magical, but noticeable, like a quiet switch had been flipped somewhere deep inside. So I kept doing it, one clove, once a day, for 7 days straight. What I noticed did not feel like the results of some powerful drug or exotic superfood. It felt more like my body had been waiting for a signal it was not getting, and chewing that clove was finally sending it. That might sound strange, but by the time you understand what actually happens inside your body the moment you start chewing a clove, it will make complete sense. Let us start at the very beginning, the moment the clove touches your teeth. The second you bite down on a whole clove, your mouth becomes a communication hub. Your salivary glands wake up fast. And not just a little, they flood. The intense aroma and compounds inside the clove trigger your brain to interpret this as a serious eating event. Your mouth starts producing rich, enzyme-loaded saliva almost instantly. Now here is what most people do not realize. Saliva is not just wet, it is loaded with enzymes, especially one called amylase, that begin breaking down carbohydrates before food even reaches your stomach. So when you chew a clove before or after a meal, you are essentially sending your digestive system an advance warning. You are telling it, something important is coming. Get ready. This is called the cephalic phase of digestion. It is a real, well-documented biological process. Your body begins preparing for digestion based on signals from your head, your taste buds, your smell receptors, your jaw movement, before a single calorie touches your gut. The problem is, in our modern world, most of us eat too fast, too distracted, and too disconnected. We skip this phase entirely without knowing it. And when we do, our digestive system scrambles to catch up. The result? Bloating, gas, that heavy, uncomfortable, sluggish feeling after meals that so many people just accept as normal. Chewing a clove slowly forces this phase to happen properly. Your stomach gets the signal to produce the right amount of acid. Your pancreas begins preparing its enzymes. Your liver gets ready to process what is coming. Everything lines up the way it was designed to. And food that enters a prepared digestive system is processed so much more efficiently than food that arrives with no warning at all. This alone was enough to make me sit up and pay attention. But it was just the beginning. The next thing I noticed was my breath. And I want to be honest here, I was not expecting this one. I did not think I had a bad breath problem. But after a few days of chewing cloves, I realized that my mouth felt cleaner, fresher, and it lasted longer than any mint or mouthwash had ever managed. Here is why. Bad breath, the persistent kind that keeps coming back no matter how many times you brush, is rarely just a surface problem. It often comes from bacteria living deep in the back of the tongue, the throat, or even imbalances further down in the digestive system. Regular mouthwash can kill surface bacteria, but it cannot reach everything, and it cannot fix what is happening below the surface. Cloves work differently. The primary active compound in cloves is called eugenol. It is a natural antimicrobial agent that has been studied extensively. When you chew a clove, eugenol is released directly into the oral cavity. It targets the specific bacteria that produce sulfur compounds. Those are the molecules responsible for foul-smelling breath. At the same time, the surge in saliva creates an alkaline environment in your mouth. Sulfur-producing bacteria hate alkaline environments. They thrive in acidic, dry conditions. By shifting that balance, you are not masking the problem. You are changing the environment so the problem cannot thrive in the first place. That is a fundamentally different approach than popping a mint, and the results feel fundamentally different too. Now let us move a little deeper, because the benefits I noticed were not limited to digestion and oral health. Around day 3, something else shifted, something I had not been looking for. My stomach felt calmer. I have always had a sensitive gut, not a diagnosed condition, just the kind of low-grade digestive tension that many people carry quietly. Mild cramping after certain foods, occasional nausea for no obvious reason, a general uneasiness after eating that I had learned to live with. I had stopped even noticing it consciously because it had become so normal. But by day 3, that background tension had reduced noticeably. By day 5, it was almost gone. The reason comes back to eugenol, but in a different way this time. When eugenol is released slowly through chewing, not in large amounts, but in the tiny, precise doses that come from one clove chewed slowly. It acts as a gentle antispasmodic. It helps the smooth muscles of the gastrointestinal tract relax. It eases cramping. It soothes the kind of irritation that shows up as nausea, tightness, or discomfort after eating. The key word there is slowly. This is not something you achieve by swallowing clove capsules or drinking clove tea. The mechanism depends on the gradual release of eugenol through saliva, absorbed at a microdose level as you chew. Large amounts of clove can actually cause irritation, but this slow, deliberate chewing delivers just enough, and the body responds beautifully. And now we get to the part that genuinely surprised me the most. The thing I did not see coming at all. Around day 4, I noticed I was reaching for snacks less. My sugar cravings in the afternoon, which had been a daily struggle for years, were quieter, almost absent some days. I was not restricting anything. I was not fighting the urge. It just was not there the way it usually was. At first, I thought it was a coincidence, but it kept happening, day after day. The explanation is rooted in neuroscience. A clove has an extraordinarily complex flavor profile. It is simultaneously sweet, bitter, warming, and pungent all at once. When your brain receives that kind of rich, layered sensory input, it interprets it as a significant eating event. The reward and satiety centers in the brain register a kind of completion, a sense that something meaningful just happened in the mouth. This sends a signal that eating is finished. Not because you are full in a physical sense, but because your brain has received the sensory satisfaction it was searching for. Most cravings, especially sugar cravings, are not really about hunger. They are about the brain looking for stimulation, reward, or a feeling of completion after a meal. One clove, chewed slowly and deliberately, can deliver that signal directly. And when the brain gets what it was looking for, the craving dissolves. It is one of the most elegant appetite regulation tools I have ever come across, and it costs almost nothing. Now let us stop for a quick moment here. If you have made it this far into this video and you are finding value in it, I want to ask you to do something right now. Not just like and subscribe. I want you to think of one specific person in your life who talks about health, who is always trying to eat better or feel better or understand their body more. Send this video to them, right now. Just share it. That one action could genuinely change how they think about what they put in their body every single day. Okay, let us keep going. Because what I just described, the digestion, the breath, the stomach comfort, the reduced cravings, those were impressive. But none of them hit me as hard as what I am about to share. This one is about stress and sleep and the system that controls both. By day 5, I noticed something that I could only describe as feeling steadier. Not calmer in a drowsy way, steadier. Like there was less noise in the background. Like the low-level hum of tension that I had normalized over years had been turned down a few notches. I started chewing my clove in the evening, about an hour before bed, and within a few days, I was falling asleep faster. Not because I was exhausted, but because my body seemed ready, willing. Like it was not fighting the idea of winding down anymore. What is happening here involves one of the most important nerves in the human body. It is called the vagus nerve. If you have heard of it, you know why this matters. If you have not, pay attention, because this changes how you understand almost everything about human health. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in the body. It runs from your brainstem all the way down through your neck, chest, and abdomen, connecting your brain to your heart, lungs, stomach, liver, and intestines. It is the main highway of your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you responsible for rest, digestion, healing, and recovery. When your vagus nerve is active, your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, stress hormones decrease, Your body shifts from a state of alertness and tension into a state of rest and repair. Sleep becomes easier, anxiety softens, digestion improves, immune function gets a boost. Here is what very few people know. Slow, rhythmic, deliberate chewing is one of the most direct ways to stimulate the vagus nerve. The jaw movement, the sensory input from the taste and warmth of the clove, the saliva production, all of these generate signals that travel along the vagus nerve pathway, activating the parasympathetic state almost immediately. This is why chewing a clove in the evening feels different from chewing one in the morning. In the evening, your body is already beginning its natural wind-down cycle. The vagus nerve stimulation from slow chewing aligns with that cycle and accelerates it. The result is a body that is genuinely prepared for rest, not just tired, but physiologically ready to heal and recover overnight. For anyone who struggles with tension, anxiety, or restless nights, this is worth paying very close attention to. And connected to this, something even more fundamental. Your immune system. Most people think about immunity in terms of vitamin C and zinc and supplements, but one of the most overlooked aspects of immune defense is happening right in your mouth, every single day. Your saliva is not just a digestive fluid, it is an immune fluid. It contains antibodies, particularly one called secretory IgA, along with antimicrobial enzymes like lysozyme and lactoferrin. These are your body's first-line defenders. They intercept pathogens at the point of entry, before they can get deeper into your system. When you increase saliva production through slow chewing, you increase the concentration and volume of these immune agents in your mouth and throat. You are essentially turning up the volume on your first line of defense. You are making it harder for viruses, bacteria, and other threats to gain a foothold. This is a quiet, consistent form of immune support. Not dramatic, not miraculous, but real and scientifically grounded. Now I want to bring everything together, because there is a bigger picture here that I think is more important than any individual benefit. After 7 days, looking back at everything I had noticed, the better digestion, the fresher breath, the calmer stomach, the reduced cravings, the steadier mood, the better sleep, the sense of something functioning more cleanly, I kept asking myself, is this the clove doing all of this? Is eugenol really that powerful? And the honest answer I arrived at is partly, but mostly no. The clove is remarkable. Eugenol is a genuinely potent compound with real, documented biological effects. But the clove is also a trigger, a key. What it unlocks is something that was already there, already designed to function this way, but had been quiet because the right signal was not being sent. The cephalic phase of digestion, the vagus nerve pathway, the saliva immune system, the satiety signaling in the brain. These are not exotic systems that cloves create. They are fundamental systems that your body already has, already knows how to use, and already wants to use. They just need clear, intentional input to activate properly. In a world where we eat fast and distracted, where we are constantly overstimulated and underrested, where we swallow food without tasting it and rush through meals without chewing them, these systems get bypassed. Consistently, every single day, and over time, the effects of that bypass accumulate. Digestion weakens, sleep suffers, cravings increase, immunity becomes inconsistent. The body still functions, but not at the level it is capable of. One clove, chewed slowly and deliberately, is a way of saying to your body, I am here, I am paying attention, I am giving you what you need to do your job. And the body responds, not with fireworks, not overnight, but steadily, quietly, undeniably. Now, before we talk about how to actually do this properly and safely, and there are a few things you genuinely need to know here. Let me say something about what this is not. This is not a cure. It is not a treatment for any disease. It is not a replacement for medical care. If you have a serious health condition, please talk to your doctor before adding anything new to your routine, including something as simple as chewing cloves. Eugenol has a mild blood-thinning effect, which means if you are on prescription blood thinners like warfarin, you need to check with your physician first. That is not a small disclaimer. That is genuinely important information. And if you have active mouth ulcers, sores, or a history of stomach ulcers, skip this practice. Eugenol is powerful, and even at small doses, it can be irritating to already damaged tissue. For everyone else, here is exactly how to do this. Take one single whole dried clove, just one. Place it in your mouth and chew it slowly. not aggressively. Slowly and deliberately, allowing your saliva to build up and mix with the compounds being released. Do this for somewhere between 60 and 90 seconds. You can spit out the fibrous remnant afterward or swallow it. It is a tiny amount of plant fiber, and either option is fine. Do this 2 to 3 times a week, not every single day. More is not better here. You want the body to respond to the signal, not adapt to it and stop noticing it. 2 to 3 times a week is enough to maintain the benefit without building tolerance. The best time is after a main meal, when the digestive benefits are most directly relevant. But if you are specifically looking for the sleep and nervous system benefits, try it about an hour before bed instead. Notice how your body responds and adjust from there. Start once a week if you are new to strong flavors or have a sensitive stomach. Give yourself time to adjust to the intensity. The warmth and pungency can feel overwhelming at first if you are not used to it. That sensation softens after a few sessions, and that is genuinely all there is to it. No expensive supplement, no complicated protocol, no major lifestyle overhaul. Just one clove, a few minutes of slow and intentional chewing, and the willingness to give your body the signal it has been waiting for. There is something almost philosophical about this when you sit with it long enough. We live in a time when health has become enormously complicated. There are entire industries built around the idea that wellness requires sophisticated interventions, expensive products, and expert guidance at every turn. And sometimes it does. Some health challenges genuinely require complex solutions. But some do not. Some of the most powerful things you can do for your body are the simplest things. Done consistently, done intentionally, done with presence, chewing food properly, breathing deeply, sleeping in a dark, quiet room, drinking enough water, moving your body every day. These things are not glamorous. They do not make headlines. They do not get sold in beautiful packaging, but they work. They work because they align with how the human body was designed to function. They work because they give ancient systems the inputs those systems were built to receive. Chewing one clove a few times a week belongs in that category. It is not magic, but it is not nothing either. And sometimes, the gap between how you feel right now and how your body is actually capable of feeling is bridged by something much smaller and simpler than you ever expected. 7 days, one clove at a time, and a quiet, undeniable shift that I did not see coming. Now I want to hear from you, and I mean that genuinely, not as a content prompt, but because your experience actually matters here. Have you ever chewed a whole clove? Not clove tea, not clove oil, not clove-flavored anything, but an actual whole dried clove chewed slowly? Drop your answer in the comments below. A simple yes or no is enough. If you have tried it and noticed something, tell us what happened. If you are going to try it after watching this, tell us that too. Come back in a week and let us know what changed. Because here is what I believe, after everything I have experienced and learned. Real health is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in small, consistent, intentional actions taken day after day. It is built in the decision to slow down, to pay attention, to give your body what it needs instead of what is convenient. And sometimes that decision starts with something as simple as a spice you already have in your kitchen. That is what this channel is about. Not shortcuts, not hype, not miracle cures, just honest, grounded, genuinely useful information about how the human body works and what it actually needs to thrive. If that is the kind of content you want more of, then this is the right place for you. Hit subscribe so you never miss what we put out next. And if this video gave you something valuable, a new idea, a different perspective, a reason to try something simple, then it did exactly what it was meant to do. Take care of your body. It is the only one you have, and it is far more capable of healing, adapting, and thriving than most of us ever give it credit for.